Good morning, friends. I'm here in Birmingham, Alabama. You can enjoy the beautiful forest, and the weather is perfect. And I'm glad that I'm able to talk to you through WhatsApp and this YouTube media. I want to continue our studies in First Corinthians. We just finished the studies in 16th chapter of First Corinthians. But before we go to the Second Corinthian, I want to sum up the whole things. What is First Corinthian is all about. Paul wrote this letter to the church at Corinth in first century, and he was trying to address certain practical issues the church were facing. One of the issue was, the ethnic division. The church was divided along the line of the race and the community. They were also divided along the line of the loyalty to the leader. Some wanted to be a follower of Apollos, some wanted to be follower of Paul. Then we also saw that how the church was having, immoral member, and how to deal with immorality, in the church. They were also struggling with the marriage issues, whether one should remain single, or if he is married to a non-believer, what should we do, whether we should get divorced. So all these social practical issues, how should we deal with food sacrificed to idols? We are surrounded by people of other faiths. How should we deal with their religious festival when they bring their food sacrificed to idols? How should we deal with it? Then we also saw that they were having problem with particularly propriety in worship. How should we worship? What should be the order of worship? How should one practice different kinds of gifts? The gift of speaking in tongue, particularly, So there were division in the church along the line of the practice of the gifts. We also saw that how there were ego problem among themselves. But in the midst of all, Paul is stressing two very important things in 1 Corinthians. One, he says, yes, you have all these practical issues, practical challenges, as you live as a community of the people of God. He stresses in chapter 13 that the most important among all these issues is the issue of love. And he emphasizes on the practice of unconditional love, agape love. He goes on to say that how greatest of all these things is love. The second thing that in chapter 15 Paul emphasizes is about the doctrine of resurrection. He says it's so important that you must believe Jesus died, he was crucified, he was buried, but then he rose again, he resurrected. If you do not believe in resurrection of Jesus Christ, then you are not also having the hope of resurrection. Then our faith is in vain. We are looking towards nothing. So he wants the church at Corinth to believe in the eternal life, life after death, life beyond death. So the 1 Corinthians, in all the 16 chapters, two major things that emerges. One is the practice of unconditional love, and the second is the belief in the doctrine of resurrection, because that gives hope to all the Christians. And if you and I are hopeful that eternal life, then we look everything from eternal perspective. He says if that is so, then we will give ourselves fully to the work of the Lord, because we know that our labor in the Lord is not in vain. Our labor will not just finish with our death. There will be a reward even after death. So that is the summary of entire first letter. Now we will start dealing next time when we meet. We'll talk about the 2 Corinthians. It's very important to know that when Paul wrote this first letter, there were some who responded. They were willing to listen to Paul, while others, they were still critical. That's how is the demography of the church, is that not everybody are on the same line. We have different personality, different ideas, and different opinions, and that's what makes a church. So the second letter Paul is writing, and it addresses on few other issues we will continue to discuss. It seems like there was already have some time lapsed before he wrote the second letter. It is is a letter that is worth reading next time when we study together. May God bless you. I continue to travel till 16th of October. I'll appreciate your prayers that God will use my stay here and it will be for His glory. Blessings and have a wonderful day and week. Bye-bye.